Neil Breen is a genius of unparalleled proportions. A true auteur who shuns the Hollywood way and makes films with a passion seldom seen in today's film-by-committee atmosphere. I mean, the man has self-funded, written, directed, acted in, and produced 5 feature films, and they've all made a profit. Find another guy that does that in Hollywood, I'll give you a Klondike bar. For goodness sakes, he even makes the sandwiches for the crew! The guy's a machine. My wife, who is an uncultured swine, can't stand the likes of Tommy Wiseau, refuses to watch Mystery Science Theater, and thinks Yor Hunter from the Future is a train wreck in spite of its awesome superiority. She caught me watching a Breen film in the darkened screening room and rolled her eyes derisively. Then she stood, transfixed and in awe. Her legs slowly gave way as the brilliance on screen burrowed into her subconscious, and she sat down to watch. 40 minutes passed before she realized what she was doing and could rally enough might to tear her eyes from the screen. "I can't look away!" she exclaimed. And so, to save her from being overwhelmed by the majesty, I paused the film long enough to allow her to escape and reflect on her past sins of dismissal. And today she is a wiser and better woman for her dalliance with greatness. Such is the effect Breen has on all who see him. My introduction into the world of Breen is a film called I Am Here, Now, and it was the perfect way to start the journey. You can tell from his use of a simple ellipses that you're in for a treat. The man respects no rules but his own, even in the use of simple grammar. In said film, Neil plays a sort of cybernetic space Jesus who wields nigh unlimited power and uses it to give some druggies and thugs a bad time and get laid. Get used to a theme here, kiddos. Neil's films usually center on him being some sort of messiah who's the best of the best at everything he tries, is a paragon of virtue and justice, and he usually has some sort of supernatural power that makes him far beyond the understanding of mere mortals. Just as it should be. What makes I Am Here, Now different from his other works is that this movie is a bit more experimental and surreal. Elements that seemingly make no sense are sprinkled throughout with a liberal hand, and though he does get a bit wiggy in other movies, this was his attempt at an art piece, slathered in metaphor. I understood most of the symbolism, as hard as it was to piece together, and that should tell you something about my own broken mental state. It was glorious. Next I saw Double Down, which in spite of the name, wasn't a drama based on the KFC arterial clogfest of the same name. As weird as it may sound, this is his most grounded movie, if such a term could ever be applied. I don't remember the name of Neil's character in this movie, but who cares? Names are besides the point. The only name that matters is Breen. Here, Neil is a super-secret agent on the run from somebody after they killed his wife and tried to assassinate him for some reason. Probably for going nude in a casino pool, because, come on, folks, Vegas is a family town. Still, you gotta give props to a guy built like a Muppet in a skin suit for going floating sack naked on screen. That takes balls! Neil's decided the best way to fight back is to pirate Dish Network out of his rented Mercedes, use broken laptops and cell phones to hack the world, and eat way too much canned tuna. Come on, nobody wants to tackle a sweaty Breen with fish oil dumping out of his pores. The man is good. As you can tell, there's a lot more to unpack here than I Am Here, get on with it, and that's because, weirdly, this is his second most linear film. It almost makes sense in a fever dream sort of way. By the end, he's either started or ended World War II, taken down some crooked bankers and politicians, also a favorite motif a la Breen, made a ghost baby with his dead wife, or... Honestly, what the did I just watch? Look guys, I know I don't swear in my reviews because I want this to be fun for the whole family, but seriously, what the My wife starts cussing like a sailor when she watches Breen, and she's as sweet and pure as the driven snow. This is what the man does to your brain. Put the kiddies to bed and take your meds. He's gonna take you places you don't want to be taken. But oh, the ride is worth it. My next stop on my personal train to hell was Fateful Findings, which, to be honest, is one of his best and worst films to date. That's also something I should mention. The man gets better at making movies and worse at the same time. I can't really figure it out. He gets better at scene framing, worse at acting. He gets better at editing, worse at storytelling. His fellow actors get worse, and his use of stock footage and emerging film technology gets exponentially better. I'm at a loss. Usually when a filmmaker grows, he takes all the lessons learned from a previous work and incorporates it into his next project, but Neil, as you remember, is a renegade, a man who plays his own tune. And damn it, if you can't dance to his concerto, that's on you. It's a wonder to behold. In Fateful Findings, Neil is a world-famous author, tortured by memories of his childhood love and some magic rock that something. He gets squashed by a car in a scene with perfect special effects, and lo and behold, his doctor is his childhood flame. He forgets how breathing works for a few scenes, flashes his bum for the ladies, and dances on home for some gross post-surgical sex in the shower. Riveting. And gross. How the lady involved made it through, I will never know, but she deserves an Oscar for the effort. I can't imagine Neil knows about anti-fogging for lenses, so that water must have been cold. Cold as Neil's glorious fish flesh as he pawed at her breasts. Anywho, there's too much to go through here. Suffice it to say, Neil cures cancer, saves his true love, who has definitely aged better than he has, and gets a bunch of corrupt politicians and bankers to off themselves on national television just by being awesome. What a swell guy. He even turns down sex from the underage daughter of a friend because, well, Neil's just that pure. You can see why she'd want that Breen meat, though. What a slab he is, am I right, ladies?
Take me, sir. Take me hard.
Pass Thru, Neil's next flick. I'll just admit it, I had a hard time getting through this one. Once more, he got better and worse at literally everything. But that's why I love the jack-haired bastard, so I tried and tried, but it's the only one he's made I couldn't make it through. It's so boring. How could it be boring, you exclaim? Well, he wasn't Breen enough. The reason you watch a Breen movie is for the man himself, but as much screen time as he had, he somehow came across as barely in the film. And by the time you get past all the good stuff, like a homeless man being murdered and his body being inhabited by the alien entity who befriends a refugee and uses his superpowers to murder 300 million people at a whim, you've just become so tired by all the filler that you don't care. Truly, this was Breen's lesser effort, and the pacing didn't leave me wanting more in my usual drug-fueled and confused sort of way, but rather found me turning off the film and dreaming of better days. Days filled with Breen. And dear sweet God in heaven, did he deliver with Twisted Pair? There wasn't enough Breen madness in Pass Thru? Well, Twisted Pair gives you 2 Neil Breens! I nearly splashed hot joy on the screen. Neil Breen, genius that he is, tested the wind of modern cinema and made a superhero movie. But not just any superhero movie. Eschewing overdrawn modern conventions like clever quips, coherent story, or likable characters, Neil gives us the vision of superheroes we've always wanted to see, splitting good and evil down the middle, exploring neither, and yet exploring too much.
Who am I? What am I?
Twisted Pair is the story of 2 twins, Cade and Cale, abducted by aliens as children and given near godlike power to do stuff. Cade is good, and his brother Cale, who was named after the worst tasting salad, is bad. Cale failed their masters, as often happens when you're a leafy green that tastes like toilet paper, and he was ostracized. Cade went on to play weird, creepy rape games with his wife lady that are uncomfortable to watch. But that's the point. He's a freak and he's sticking to it. The only complaint I have is Neil's unwillingness to get naked and give us the tantalizing Twitter fuel we've all craved since forever. Maybe he's bowing out of the game gracefully and acknowledging his age, but damn it, man, you've got so much more to give! Give it, I cry! Give it to me good!
Well, something about that is just downright unsettling.
Anyway, there's something about taking down an evil guy who strokes his diamonds, and something about the bad brother murdering digitally multiplied extras in his garage In the end, the bad bankers and politicians are destroyed, Neil goes on to fight another day, and the other Neil lurks in the shadows to haunt his brother's footsteps, just waiting to re-emerge. Damn it, I love this movie. Breen has at this point become the purest version of what he was, but at the same time, I fear that he is testing trends to become more relevant in his filmmaking. In my opinion, this is the wrong move. For connoisseurs of film, having sat and watched all of Breen's movies is like saying you were in Nam, and only those who were there can really appreciate the significance. You've been through something no man can truly understand unless they were there, and a brotherhood forms between the survivors that can't be expressed in words to the uninitiated. Breen has always been a renegade, an outlier who neither asks for nor needs permission. He is a true filmmaker, pure and unsullied, who should follow his own vision instead of the bastardized ugliness of the film community at large. Bring me your tired, your weary masses, yearning to be free. Neil Breen exemplifies this call in a way few today do. He is a genius, and I do not say this ironically. I long for the gift he has yet to give us. Give it to me, Neil. My body and mind awaits. If Mr. Breen is watching and wants me to consult on his next film, I will do so free of charge. In fact, I don't want to advise the man, I merely would like to be a part of his next opus. Perhaps I can bring him coffee in the wee cold hours as he edits his latest masterpiece. Maybe, and this is a dream within a dream, I can be there on set and study his method. And oh, hope of greatest hopes, may I? Could I dare ask to be on screen? Perhaps I could play a small part. Something, anything would be enough. A man overawed by Neil's presence who helps him in his quest. A bookkeeper, a bystander, something, my dear stir. The sidekick, the man behind the great one, who wipes his worried brow in the moments when, well, when words aren't enough. Well, that's it for now from Hugh's Reviews. Hey, in the comments below, tell me how you first came to love the Breen. That glorious man, I would... Huh. Hello? Mr. Breen? Well, I'm working on it right now. Well, of course. Wait, how did you get this number? Well, that does make sense. You are the best ever, and... Well, Well, thank you. I'm so flattered.